everybody, welcome back to the Fumble Live. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad today. You guys, we are missing our girl Jackie, but I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Hey guys, it's your girl Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Okay, you guys, let's get right to the news. Let's talk about this rumor about DeMar DeRozan. So according to an anonymous NBA agent, DeMar wants out of San Antonio. So The Athletic granted anonymity to 20 player representatives so that they could speak freely about the way the league handled the bubble, free agency, front offices. Basically, it was an opportunity for them to speak about whatever they wanted without any fear of being found out or connected to any of these rumors. So one agent said that DeMar doesn't like San Antonio and he doesn't want to be there. So here's what's interesting though. DeMar obviously caught wind of this story by The Athletic. So he posted this clip from Friday and this caption, me trying to figure out when I said that shit. But Leo, can you throw the clip up there for us?
Yeah. What the fuck?
So it goes on longer. He posts a longer clip, but obviously he's just like, I don't know when I said any of that. I don't think I said any of that. So Britt, let's talk about this. Do you think DeMar does want out of San Antonio, or is he just trying to quiet the rumors by saying me trying to remember when I said that shit?
I mean, who would want to be in San Antonio right now? It's not the San Antonio that we used to see. And obviously DeMar DeRozan's situation was probably one of the worst things that could have happened, because he got traded from a team that he said he was going to stay with and re-signed a contract with. And then that team ended up trading him and then go on to win a championship that year. Yeah. So I felt so bad for him during that whole situation. And because we all knew DeMar could have went anywhere when he was a free agent, and he decided to stay with the Toronto Raptors at the time, but the Raptors let go of him anyway in order to get Kawhi and Danny Green. So I think there's obviously going to be, he's probably still this whole time felt some type of way about that, because he hasn't been the DeMar DeRozan when he was in Toronto that he has been with the San Antonio Spurs, even though we all would have thought that he would have become a better player because he's playing under Pop, and he's literally the star player on that, or should have been the star player on that team. But I don't think these agents that are saying these things are like actually know anything, because the same group of agents also said that Kawhi Leonard is going to be part of a trade with the Clippers, which I thought was bogus. I did a story on it yesterday if you guys want to check that out on the Fumble, but I thought that was crazy. So I don't really, what do these agents actually know about what these teams are really trying to do anyway, and what these players want, unless it was actually DeMar DeRozan's agent that said something.
Right. And if it was DeMar DeRozan's agent, he really should keep his mouth shut, I feel like, even if he is granted anonymity. But then again, people like to talk. People like to be able to be in the know. Chris, do you think, or my question for you is, if he does leave San Antonio, do you have any teams in mind that you think would be a good fit for him?
God, that is a good question. I know what team I don't want him to go to, and that is my New York Knicks. I would not like that, because it's going to take minutes away from RJ Barrett, because there's been rumors for 2 to 3 years, ever since he was first traded to San Antonio in the trade that Britt was just talking about, that there was supposed to be some big move and stuff like that. Just exactly to echo what Britt just said about the whole Kawhi thing. There's just rumors upon rumors, but here we are years later, nothing has come of that. But I was never really a fan of him going to the Spurs. I love Pop. I love everything that's going on with that team. I do think that they are not as far away as people. They're not the same Spurs, but I don't think they're as far away as people might believe they are. I just don't think he fits there. So to answer that question, I think DeMar, and I hate to keep putting people on this same team, but I love DeMar. If they're not able to get like a Victor Oladipo or something like that, I love DeMar going to Miami. I think he would be a great fit over there in Miami to, play next to Jimmy Butler, because, they have the same kind of gritty play style. I think he would be a lot of fun to play over there. But other than that, I haven't really thought of any other team that he would fit on, because he's got a contract still that he's got to play through. So I haven't really thought about any trades where he would go. But I think that secretly there is some truth to this. I do think he does want to be traded, but I think he has to say what he had to say on IG, because that's just the right thing to do, because he's on the team still.
Britt, do you have any thoughts about teams that you think he would work well with?
I don't know, just because I don't know if DeMar is just a new, different DeMar that's not what he was before, or if he is just in that situation because he's with the Spurs, because it's hard to really like look at what kind of player he is now. You know, like if you were talking about when he was with Toronto and stuff, I would have suggested totally different teams for that DeMar than I would suggest for the DeMar
right
that's
now
playing in San Antonio right now. But I don't know, is that DeMar or is that like he's just like that right now because he doesn't fit in San Antonio? But I mean, to Chris's point, that would be interesting, but also I don't see a trade happening in order to bring DeMar DeRozan to the Miami Heat. So I would see that happening. I think he's probably going to just have to play out his contract, because I don't see, with how DeMar has been playing, I don't see really trading or working out some trade in order to get him at this time.
Well, chat, let us know what you guys think. If you think there's validity to these rumors, or is this an agent just saying whatever he wants to get a couple moments of, like, I guess he's anonymous, so there wouldn't be fame. But let us know.
Can I just point out this? We have a Spurs fan in the chat out here trying to steal RJ Barrett. Rodney Pettis saying, "Hey, we'll take RJ." Chris, I'm a Spurs fan, so you know I don't want to hear your responses on any Spurs trades. Rodney ruined it for you guys. I don't want to hear him.
Okay,
but I mean, this anonymous thing is obviously like, it's a bunch of agents that are literally trying to play like chess here, and they're going to say whatever rumor needs to be said in order to help or, you know, switch something for whatever their player is. So it doesn't even, I'm sure people aren't really saying a lot of things about their own players. I think they would say something about other players in order to like try to like put some tension in the air with like players with teams, because they really want their player to get traded to that team or whatever the case is. So I think it's like they're doing it all kind of probably maliciously, because they're trying to, like, you know, downplay somebody else's contract or make somebody seem like they're unhappy somewhere. So then that team is like, oh, if this person's unhappy, maybe we should trade them. And then the agent's going to come, hi, I have a trade I want to do with you. Why don't you do this? Get my guy for whatever the case is. So I think them doing this like anonymously is kind of like scary, because they're just going to say whatever they want to say in order to like move their pieces how they want with their particular players that they have.
That's actually such a good point. Like, this would be a great opportunity for agents to be sneaky and manipulative, for sure. So that's actually a really interesting perspective, and something that I didn't necessarily think of when I first read that story. But we'll see what happens, you guys. So let's get into the second news story. Andre Drummond has some thoughts about small ball. He says that he thinks the days of small ball are over. He said, quote, "In terms of the big man position dying, I don't think that's a real thing. I think it's more of just, you know, people not knowing basketball or paying attention to what's going on." So the Warriors are a team that's known for small ball. So Chris, my question goes to you first. Do you agree with Andre, or do you think that when the Warriors come back, they'll kind of repopularize small ball? I have written in my notes here small balls, but I meant to write small ball. Anyway.
Well, they might have some balls to worry about if they get LaMelo Ball, so we ain't completely far off. But I don't think even the Warriors. I've never been crazy about the fact that the Warriors are the ones that killed the big men. I think that yes, that, you know, they played entirely at the 3-point line and then, you know, became popular for that, but people forget there's a reason why Steph Curry always got open, and that was always the big man that they had on their team. You can go anywhere from Kevon Looney to Damian Jones to JaVale McGee. All that, they always had a pretty solid big man that would play defense on the other end and set great screens to get Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry open. So I never really bought into the whole depth of the big men. I think if anything, that is more of a Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni thing. They are the ones that probably killed small ball more than anybody else. So, and I think honestly, and I think Britt is on my side with this. I think that the Warriors are probably going to be drafting a big man in somebody like James Wiseman. So I don't think that small ball is entirely dead, and I think Andre Drummond has a point here. But at the same time, Andre Drummond plays for the Cavaliers, that are not a great team. So I'm not really hearing what Andre Drummond has to say about small ball or big ball being alive or whatever. But no, I don't think I think the Warriors didn't kill the big man. I think that they prove that they are still very valuable in the league, but we just like to pay attention to the 3-point game. That was it.
Mm-hmm. So then, Britt, how do you feel about Andre's stance on small ball? Do you agree with him or not? Do you disagree with him that the big man position is dying, or do you think it's reemerging? What are your thoughts about all of this?
I think you always need a big man, and I think it was a bad reference to go to Golden State because, like Chris just said, they have still always had a big man. So if you want to look at the Rockets, whose center was 6'5", that's small ball. Like, that is real small ball because their center is 6'5", you know? The Warriors have always had a guy that's like 6'10", JaVale McGee 7'1". They've always had like a big guy on their team. I remember when they even brought in DeMarcus Cousins, even though he didn't end up panning out or playing or whatever like he was supposed to. But they've always made sure they've kept like a big guy on their team. I think the difference just between now and maybe basketball before, teams used to be led by the center. That was the number one person everybody wanted on their team and wanted to. The first $100 million contract was to a center. You know, like the centers were the number one position in the NBA for a long time, you know, and now obviously because the Splash Brothers and stuff, people are focused more on, you know, that 3-point shot and this, that, and the third, but I don't think it has anything to do with like even being small ball versus, you know, regular basketball and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't agree with him, but I do agree with him in a sense, if that makes sense. But no, I don't think anybody was trying to get rid of centers. I think centers are still centers, and I think maybe it's a more switch you get between like the 1 through 4, which is like why you have Ben Simmons who can do a 1 and a 4, and you have LeBron who could technically play 1 through 4. You know, you have so many different things like that, but I think the 5 spot is a solidified spot still to this day in this league. If you want a team that's going to be like a championship caliber, I believe.
All right. Oh, Chris, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wasn't going to disagree. I was just thinking maybe anything that Andre Drummond is probably adding on is the fact that the center is a different type of center, because we always talked about unicorns. I don't remember the Kristaps Porzingis and, you know, Jokic. Those are kind of, we never really saw 7-footers shooting the ball quite like that, except for like guys like Dirk Nowitzki. So I think that's probably what he was coming at with the fact that centers are back, because now we have a lot more centers that are shooting the ball, so now they're going to be more important. But yeah, I just wanted to add that because I do agree with her. I think that I do sort of agree with him, but I'm not completely agreeing with Andre Drummond on this one.
All right. Well, let's talk about some football, you guys. This next story feels kind of like deja vu. The Seahawks are reportedly interested in Antonio Brown again. So according to Adam Schefter, quote, with Antonio Brown's suspension eligible to end after week 8, the Seattle Seahawks are now positioned to make a push to sign him. They're not alone, though. Other teams are also interested in him. So there are mixed opinions online about whether or not this is a good call or a bad call. So, Britt, let's start off with you. Do you think that Antonio Brown going to the Seahawks would be a smart move?
I am so sick of like the are interested in, just do it. If you're going to do a contract, just do it and we'll figure it out after. Obviously, the Seahawks do not need him at this point. Seahawks are killing it right now. The NFC West is a very hard division and they are still doing amazing. And I believe they might have lost one game, but I still think they're undefeated, actually. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I still believe they're undefeated going into now week 7 of the NFL season. So the Seahawks, I always am a firm believer in we don't need to fix anything if it's not broken. And what they've been doing over there has been great. And they've actually already had like what is considered to be their difficult part of the season mostly out of the way. So, and they've been amazing during that time. Their defense is great. Their offense has been playing great. I think putting Antonio Brown into that situation, especially because we don't know Antonio Brown's mental and how he is going to be,
Right.
and like, is he going to throw the team off and whatever? Like, I don't think that that's something they should even consider at this point. Oh, look at me full screen now. Okay, something happened, but oh, I think Devin had to sign.
Oh
up
no.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, I could talk full screen if you want me to, Leo. Okay, she's back. Okay, but
Okay. Finally.
yeah, no, I don't think it's a decision for the Seahawks to do that, and nor do I think that the Seahawks are probably actually really interested or considering it, and I don't want to hear about it until it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, did you talk already or no? I missed everything.
No.
Yeah,
Britt was going. And I the thing is, I don't really have much to add to it because I completely agree. I've been on this. I love the Seahawks, but I'm tired of them always being at the spearhead. Anytime anybody is back to being active to playing, the Seahawks are supposedly thinking about and considering picking up that player. So, yeah, no, I agree with everything Britt said. I'm tired of the Seahawks in that situation.
Right.
They
Just
always
do it or
do
don't
that.
do
It's
it.
like,
Yes.
right. These rumors
Right.
are so paper thin with them because we hear it over and over and over again. I mean, this is the second time that Antonio Brown's been connected with the Seahawks. So it's just
Right.
like,
Exactly.
Honestly, oh my gosh, it's gonna freak me out right now. From the Jets that just went there,
Who?
did they just
Le'Veon
sign?
Bell?
Yeah.
Oh, who did
no,
they
no,
sign?
no.
Oh,
It wasn't
God.
Le'Veon Bell. It was the other guy. Their safety.
Adams, Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. Yes. We didn't hear one rumor about Jamal Adams and them potentially being interested in it. They just got Jamal Adams, you know? So that if the Seahawks really want people, they're just going to get that person. There's not going to be this actual conversation of interest or whatever the case is. Because we have seen if they want a player, it just randomly, it'll just happen overnight. It'll just be like, oh, actually, y'all, I just signed with the Seattle Seahawks. And everyone's like, wait, what? We weren't even talking about the Seahawks and you going to the Seahawks. We were talking about him with all these other teams. So I think the Seahawks that's just BS because we know their actual business. When they actually sign players, they sign them. They don't talk about interest, like say anything. They just sign them.
So Britt, then since I missed sorry if this is repetitive, but do you feel that this is going to happen or you have no opinion on whether it's going to happen or not? You just don't want to think about it until it's actually done.
I answered that. I said that I don't think that they should do it. I think that the team is fine as is. They've had a great season so far, and I don't want them to mess that energy up with having Antonio Brown put in this situation. So I don't, even if this is some kind of whatever, I don't think it's a good idea for them to bring him on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He is a problematic player, as we've seen in the past. He can be a little troublesome, so definitely could ruin the energy or change something at least. But okay, on that note, that wraps up Need to Know News. So Chris, tell us what's going on social media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Post Up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. And yes, I agree. I don't think that now is the time to pick up Antonio Brown. I was all for it when they initially said that they wanted Antonio Brown at the beginning of the season. But now 5 games in, undefeated, leave it alone, don't touch it. And get out of that. I agree with Brown on that one. But let's jump into Post Up, and we're sticking with football. We're starting with Odell Beckham Jr. He had a funny take on COVID-19 and the coronavirus and how he feels about him ever getting the virus. Mary Kay Cabot, who is a beat writer for the Browns, she reported that Odell Beckham Jr. said this. She posted a tweet saying, Browns Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't think COVID-19 is going to enter this body. It's mutual respect. Now, take that as you want to take it. Take it as him, not being worried. I think a lot of these football players are going to think that, they're Iron Man and stuff like that. I don't think it's at a Kirk Cousins level because he is wearing his mask and doing that kind of stuff. But he is at, that machismo where he's like, I ain't going to get no COVID. And to that, this response that was in the same, what what's it called? Yeah, this one right. It was a response to that same tweet came from Evan that said COVID-19, and I took that personally. I'm not saying that I hope that that comes to OBJ, but just the fact that the Michael Jordan meme just still lives on months and months and months and months later after the Last Dance is funny. But how are you guys taking this? Because we've heard a lot going on with OBJ in the last last day and some change. We're not going to talk about that, but with the fact of him saying that he's not really scared of the disease coming his way, or excuse me, the virus coming his way, is that some sort of ignorance, do you think, from OBJ? Let me start with you, Britt, and I'm coming to you, Devin. Do you think that's ignorance coming from OBJ, or do you think that's just him just being OBJ and just being laughing off the situation? Because like I said, he's not disrespecting it and not wearing masks and stuff like that, but he had that quote to say.
No, I think that's just speaking positive energy into the universe. I think he's just being like, no, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to whatever, because he's still obviously doing everything that he needs to do to prevent himself from getting it. And so I think the last piece of it is like your mental and your like energy and staying positive. So I just think that's just him saying like, nope, wait, listen, my guy, I respect you. I know you real. I know what you can do. I'm listening to everything to stay away from you, so I ain't gonna get it because I'm listening and paying attention. I thought that's what that meant by saying like we got mutual respect, because I know who you are and I don't want none of that. So I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure I don't get none of that. So I think that he was just being positive and having like a moment like, I respect it, so I ain't gonna get it because I'm making sure I'm being careful.
Right. And Devin, as you expect, because it's Odell, so he had the haters and people who completely missed the message behind what he had said to Mary, and they're comparing it to Kirk Cousins, saying that he's just as ignorant. This is the problem with football players and stuff like that. Do you agree with Britt and myself that this is not the same situation at all, even in the slightest?
Yeah, I agree with you guys for sure. I mean, I took what he said as sort of like a playful joke. Like, obviously, there's not a mutual respect with a virus and a person. Like, I just took it as sort of humorous, you know? I think it would be different if he was going around, like, being the type of person to yell about wearing a mask or act like it's infringing on his, like, personal rights or whatever, just acting like an idiot. But he's not. He's being a good guy about it. He's not going to parties or throwing 100-person parties. So yeah, I don't think that he deserves to be dragged for something like this. It was just kind of a joke. And he's a healthy guy, so he's not wrong when he says that he's not going to get it. It probably wouldn't hurt him as badly as it would hurt other people.
Yeah, if he was being ignorant about the entire situation. Yeah, no, I understand. I think people forget that key part to the two different players in Kirk Cousins and Odell Beckham Jr. Kirk Cousins was out here claiming that he doesn't need to do anything, doesn't need to wear a mask because he doesn't care if he dies, he dies. Odell's not saying the same. It's not the same situation at all. But yeah, I didn't take any percent. I thought it was funny. Odell just being Odell. But pivoting back over to basketball, to the NBA world, we have Josh Hart, who had a very strong opinion about his now teammate JJ Redick. The thing is, this isn't an uncommon opinion. People may not remember, but back when JJ Redick played for Duke, this dude was a hooper. This guy could hit the shot before Jimmer Fredette and Steph Curry. JJ Redick, there was not a shot that he didn't feel like he couldn't make, and he would take shots from half court everywhere. JJ Redick was crazy back when he played for Duke, which led to a lot of other people not liking him, because on top of that, he was very, very aware of how good he was, and he was very arrogant about the situation. So not a lot of people were fans of JJ Redick back when he was in college, which led to Josh Hart, who had this very honest opinion about his now teammate, saying, "Yo, I really hated JJ Redick when he was in college." Where JJ Redick responded saying, "You weren't the only one. I love JJ Redick when he was in college, but I got it. I understood, because I had a lot of people that hated him. I did. Because look, man, I'm telling you, man, this little white dude out there looking like how he's looking, having swag like that, and making the shots on top of it. I thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was funny more than anything. I know you, but you exactly. I was going to say, but we know you hate him.
And I really hated JJ Redick. And I when he first came on my Clippers, I was so mad at the beginning because like he literally was like I couldn't stand. I was just like, oh, he's on my team now and yada yada. Yeah. And then obviously I grew to like love him because he would be clutch with those 3-pointers sometimes. Yeah. But I did not know JJ Redick, and he just like had this attitude. Like he just like a shot and have this like, yes, I'm like I don't know. I just did not like him. And really, it's crazy because all the white boys that Duke gets, I just like I can't stand any of them. They always what was that? Everybody hates what was his name? He
Which
played
one?
for Duke. He was like, and they had shirts. Everybody hates.
Oh my God, I don't. Oh my God, I can't remember. Chat, help, chat.
Everybody, hold on.
Who on Duke?
He was on Duke.
The only person I can remember that everyone hated was on your team, and that was Tyler Hansbrough. But I can't think of the dude on Duke.
Christian Laettner. Everybody hates Christian.
Oh, yes, the OG. Yes,
everybody
right. Yes, yeah. Christian Laettner, yeah, he had it worse.
The white boy trend at Duke. That after that, everybody hated every white boy that ever played for Duke.
Yep, that's facts. But the story didn't end there with Josh Hart talking about his teammate, and of course it was respect between the two guys. But new coach Stan Van Gundy, who has been new to Twitter and I've been loving Stan Van Gundy's tweets on Twitter. He had to jump in on the conversation, didn't really add much to it, but he had to make sure JJ Redick knew that this was a sign of respect. To which, Josh Hart was just, looking at his responses and realized, like, wait, Stan Van Gundy, wait a minute. Hey, coach, how you doing, man? Waved at his new coach. And that'd be funny if this was the first time that he had a conversation, not even a conversation, but spoke to his new coach, Stan Van Gundy, with being on Twitter, where now Stan Van Gundy. That's what I'm saying. It probably was. They probably had not met up. Maybe a phone call. Who knows? But I thought that was just funny how he noticed his coach. I don't know. I think that was a funny back and forth between them. But it wasn't new. I mean, people took that as like negative. There's nothing new. That's just JJ Redick. Nobody liked JJ Redick at Duke except for people like me. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, man, look, you believe in yourself, you got that swag. I'm with it. But moving on from one younger player with a vet to another younger player and a vet. This one is going to Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard. Now, Anthony Simons went live on his IG the other day, and he was live with his girlfriend. And apparently, he didn't let nobody know about his girlfriend. So Damian Lillard went up in his chat, letting him know, like, yo, you ain't gonna tell me you got a new girl? Like, you just gonna hide this from me? Like, what's going on? I'm your vet. Like, you ain't gonna talk to me about it? So much to the point where he requested to go on to his IG live so he can chew him out in person and clown him while he was on the live. And it was pretty funny. So check out this clip.
Man, find out my boy got a girl.
Oh, shit.
Bro, why you ain't tell me, bro?
Hey, bro, this.
I'm
We like 4 months in, bro. Like 4 months in.
4 months, bro? You wasn't gonna tell me?
I ain't know how long it's gonna last. You feel me?
Boy, you a dirty dog. One.
You a dirty dog, boy. But if you didn't hear it, because Dame is he's so confident, he's like, you didn't tell me about it. But before Dame went on, he was like, I did tell you, I told you about her. This is not new news. Why are you acting like you didn't know? You're doing this for the camera, you're playing this up for the fans and whatnot. Well, later on, while Dame was giving it to Anthony Simons, he did remember, like, oh wait, you did tell me about her, and that one was hilarious too. So here's later on in that same live.
You from Santa Barbara? What's your name?
No, I'm Bree. I'm from Houston.
Oh, you from Houston? Oh, you did tell me about Bree. Matter of fact,
Look at his face.
H-Town.
Yeah.
So you okay? So now you spend a little bit of money. You done flew her out.
Oh my!
Dame was wrong, but he was still right. He had to throw that last jab in. I love that. I love the interaction between the two. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, man, look, you got to make sure that you keep your vets in the know, Anthony Simons. But it looks like you did. But it doesn't matter because Dame was still gonna give you shit anyway. So regardless, there was that. But I thought that was funny. Love seeing that kind of stuff, and we know that we don't expect that from Damian Lillard. Like that's not a surprise coming from anybody else. But you know what is a surprise? We talk a lot about tattoos on this show. A lot about tattoos. I wish I didn't have to show you this tattoo that I was about to show you guys next. This one's a bit wild. Now, I had no idea about this kind of tattoo and whatnot, and we know that, Barstool Sports, they're known for finding, like, the funny and crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes in sports. But even Big Cat from Barstool, he didn't even notice what was going on Las Vegas Raiders, Trent Brown's arm. He posted this tweet saying, I was today I was today's day old when I found out that Trent Brown has the funniest tattoo in the NFL. So let me get a picture of just Trent Brown on the field normal, right? Let's get this next picture up. Just Trent Brown. You couldn't even tell. If you look at his arm, there's a tattoo there, but it looks like he's trying to get removed or something, but you can't even tell. But wait till I zoom in and show you what this tattoo actually looked like. Can we get the next picture up? Yeah.
Oh, no, it does not.
Trent, so many questions, my guy. What the hell's going on with this tattoo? Now I know why it's so faded out, because you don't want that tattoo to be seen. I don't know if he's trying to get it removed. I don't know what's going on, but this is a whole tattoo on his arm. So I don't know if I would say, thank you, Leo. I wouldn't say this is the funniest tattoo I've ever seen, but it is definitely the most hello tattoo I've ever seen. I don't know where to go from this.
I can say about this tattoo. Does he just wear long
I want to see him get
every time he goes home for Thanksgiving?
Right. But you know he's wearing long sleeves. You know he's wearing long sleeves. He's like, nah, mama ain't seeing my arms. No, it's not there. That's why it's so faded. But now he's been outed. But I don't even know what to say about that.
He's like freshly getting it done. Like, it looks like, okay, I just got the outline. Now next week I'm about to get it colored in. Like, I think this is like, is this a tattoo? Like, why have we never seen this?
Well,
what do you think he asked for when he walked into the tattoo shop? What do you think he told the tattoo artist?
Was it not out of the photo he had? Did he have a picture of this happening? And he's like, I would like this on my arm? Or
he probably sent the tattoo artist the Pornhub link. Like, hey, yo, this is what I want. I want just pick something from this. I want this on my arm. And the dude's like,
he has his helmet on, but then like no shirt, and like it's just like, my God. And then her whole butt was out. She had like a jersey on, but she didn't have no pants on. Like,
also, I refuse to believe that was. It might be, but I refuse to believe that was supposed to be Trent, because I don't know what Trent thinks he looks like when he looks in the mirror, but it wasn't looking like that Superman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That dude looked like a black Superman in that damn tattoo. So I love, but hey, man.
So, Chris, you think this was maybe another football player that he got a tattoo of on his arm if it's not him?
I don't know. I ain't gonna get in Trent's business. I don't know, but if that's supposed to be him, my God, you know.
He recorded his teammate getting something done.
The levels. I don't know. Yo, Trent. I'm sorry if this is the first time this came out. If Mama Brown is watching this for whatever reason, I'm sorry. Oh, what happened?
Look at Trent Brown, man. So inspirational.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
Inspired to be a great football player, a good athlete, or whatever. That is not what you guys
That's not it. And you could tell he was taking notes from the book of Lou Will, because like there was him and there were two females in the tattoo. All right, we're gonna move off of this one. We just gonna pivot away from Trent Brown. We're going away from this one. Well, we're gonna stick to the football world, because we got more not sloppiness, but we got more really that's going on in the football world. But we're talking about LSU, but we're gonna stick to Coach O on this one, because after he won his championship, Coach O is just going out there living his best life, because after his divorce, he is out there wilding out and having a great time with some very, very young women. So we have this. Look, Beer Bryant posted this saying Coach O won that championship, got divorced, and turned up, and you see him in bed with this girl that is way younger than he is, and out there living it up in the pool with this other girl. Go ahead, whatever help makes you happy, Coach O. Look at him. Oh, look at him. Look at the pose and everything. Go ahead.
Zoom in on his face, Leo. Please zoom in on that face.
Look at the eye. Oh God, no. Oh my goodness. Look at Coach O. Look. Oh my God. Oh my.
Mood, okay, that is a mood. His hand on his head, like.
I don't like it either. Get it off. Look at him. Look at my man out there living his best life. Maybe, but look, let me tell you something. I'm sure the players weren't the only ones picking up the money from Odell, because I'm looking like he was out there getting some of that extra money to go out there and spend on these ladies. So go ahead, Coach O.
I'm willing to bet that he met them through seekingarrangements.com. He clearly has a profile looking to be somebody's sugar daddy.
Hey, girl, I'm a championship winning coach. What you doing later? You want to go to Vegas? And then the pictures came out. I don't know, Coach. I can just think about Coach spin game like that. I don't even see that happening either. I don't know, man. What is going on? We got Trent Brown doing what he's doing. We got Coach. I don't know what's happening. And
we have a little bit of time, so can I tell a quick story?
please,
I used
please.
to work I worked in Louisiana.
Right.
I remember, meeting all the big coaches and all this kind of stuff. The funniest coach, he was the coach of UL, the Ragin' Cajuns, which is just like an hour up from LSU. And I had to go cover them first time there, whatever. The coach is like literally like this older guy, but he was like, his wife was there and she was super young or whatever. And they had like these young kids. Plus his son was on the football team. So I was like, oh, so he must have like got divorced and remarried or whatever. The story was crazy. He literally, one of the cheerleaders that was a cheerleader literally like a couple years before with his son, he got a divorce and married one of the cheerleaders on the UL like cheer team and like is married to her. And she's like literally like 23, 24 years old. And he's like this old football coach for like UL Ragin' Cajuns. Like it is so, I was just like, what, like divorce? So it's like his son is on the football team, but his dad is married to one of the cheerleaders for the football team. It was just, I was just like, what in the world is happening here? I need to get out of Louisiana.
I was saying, no, Louisiana getting down. All right. Wow. That's so weird. I don't know how I feel about that. But,
That's the player. I feel so bad for the player. Like his dad.
Could you imagine? That's what I'm saying. Nah, I don't. Yeah. Sorry, son. sorry, son. So Thanksgiving can be dope, right? Anyways, but yeah, we gonna move off of the craziness going down in Louisiana, and we're gonna go down to some craziness going on in Houston. Now we know, the crazy development that happened with Daniel House, towards the end of his time in the bubble, sneaking in the girl, finding out that this man had a whole wife and kids behind the scenes, and it was just all levels of crazy. But now this video came out of him not in the right state of mind, where it's kind of shocking, and some people are a little bit worried about Dan Wells' mental state. But here's this video that came out that is very, very odd.
I just got a little bit of. Let me stop playing.
What?
I don't know. I have no answers for it. Yeah, everyone was like, "Is he good? Like, what's going on?" So this went on a Twitter site shared it. I think it was NBA Central. I don't remember who it was, but somebody shared it on Twitter, and this video went up to the point where Daniel House himself saw the video, and he responded to it saying that this was all it was. He was just happy about my hair.
Aww. You know what this reminds me of? The way he was acting, it reminds me of that scene in Wolf of Wall Street when they take the Quaaludes, too many Quaaludes, and then he's trying to like crawl from his car to the front door.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
His car perfectly fine and got in and drove home
Yeah.
fine, but really he was like crawling.
He was not. Yeah, that's actually very. I don't know, man. I don't know what to take of this one. I don't know. Just a lot of weird that was going on yesterday. We haven't heard anything, but apparently he was just happy about his hair. But when you see the hair, I don't know what he was so happy about. The lineup was nice, but that's about it. I don't know. Dan, well, I don't know. I hope everything's good. I hope this isn't all the result of everything that's been going on behind the scenes. I don't know. You gonna say something, Britt?
No, I'm like, we don't need another, situation
And that's what I'm saying.
with NBA players. So that's why I'm like, I can't even laugh at this. It's like scary. It's like sad. I hope, I don't know. Somebody check on him.
Yep, check on him because he's still in the league. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what's going on there. But he probably should be doing. He probably should be following after Klay Thompson's footsteps, because what Klay Thompson has been doing since he has come back from his injury is he has made it a daily routine to go out to the beach and make some morning stretches, do some yoga. So we got yoga Klay Thompson on the scene. Now Klay Thompson has been living it up in this off season, as we see him right there. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Now, I know he's not alone this time, so he's out by the water, and I'm not worried about him now because you can tell somebody took that photo, taking photos of him, so he's good. He's out there doing the stretches, and he dropped the caption along with these pictures saying, "A nice socially distant stretch and some fresh air is a daily necessity." So Klay Thompson just out there just getting ready for next season. I'm telling you, man, Klay Thompson's about to go out next season. He's going to shoot 88% from the three-point line, average 44 points per game. Klay Thompson is getting ready. All these posts and everything like that, I'm all here for it, especially with his Nerf his Nerf brand deal. I'm ready for Klay Thompson next season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, he's out there, getting prepared for next season. All right, and last but not least, I just got to say, I really enjoyed the bubble. Like, I thought I enjoyed the bubble before, but now after what I have to talk about now I really, really enjoyed the bubble because what the bubble took away from us was – some posts that we were getting a lot on Post Up earlier on in the quarantine. Well, Kuzma's a champion now, and he's back to being what?
No.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, jeez.
My guy.
I'm upset.
I was waiting for this one. I was waiting for this one.
What is this? Oh my God.
That's the one. That's the one right there. This is the one I don't like. This is the one I don't like. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one that's gonna haunt me. Laker fans, look at me. You made this man an NBA champion, and y'all gonna have to live for that for the rest of your life. That man's NBA champion. Sorry, this man's an NBA champion. Look at that. I have no words. You guys want to take it away? I have nothing else to say about this. I was just like, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's not forget that Lakers fans created the petition. Oh, wait, sorry. Lakers fans created the petition that Kyle Kuzma should not get a ring. I thought I was mean, but you can't blame the Lakers fans for making him a champion because people didn't want him to be a champion.
And look, y'all gave me a hard time for signing the petition. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know, man. Dude, oh my gosh. It just didn't make any sense. Go ahead, Britt, please.
I just don't know, does he really think his outfits are, he put together a fit, and you have a whole girlfriend now who is a model.
Bro.
Is she not telling you these outfits are not it?
Winnie,
sis.
help him out.
Winnie,
help him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's half of a girlfriend's job is to make sure you don't walk out of the house looking crazy. Maybe she didn't allow him to walk out of the house looking like that. Maybe that's why the pictures are inside the house because she's like, listen, you could sit here and post on your Instagram, but you ain't walking down the street with me looking like that. So take your pictures before you go change your outfit. Maybe that's what happened, but my God.
Looking at the comments, and we got Laker fans in the comments that still aren't even. Andre Small just saying, "Look, Kuzma," with a bunch of laughing emojis. But we got somebody that's on your fan, Kai, that's on your side, Kuz. Kydrick Alexander saying that's drip. Well, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know, but Kuz, do your thing, bro. But to me, you're still going to be West Coast Tyler Hero. And on that note, that's it for me. I'll post it.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, now. It is. Are you ready, Chris? Do you have your beat?
That's right. We're going ready to go. Oh, yeah. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Now it is time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
All right. So Chris mentioned it a teeny tiny bit earlier. I am going to get into it and break it all down for you guys because Odell Beckham Jr. is in big trouble. He is actually banned from his former school, LSU, for the next 2 years. Why is he banned? Well, you guys remember during the LSU Clemson CFP championship game, LSU won. Great thing for the organization. It was huge. They won. Blah, blah. It was their first national championship under the CFP. And there were things going on in the locker room that were on camera, and it was Odell Beckham Jr. handing out $100 bills. He handed out a total of $2,000 worth of $100 bills. I covered this story when it came out, and Odell and everybody else said it was fake money. So that was the end of that. Nobody talked about it anymore. I personally didn't think it was fake money, but that was the storyline. It was fake money. And now LSU has decided to ban him for 2 years. They did this voluntarily, and they also did a bunch of other stuff voluntarily, including docking themselves 8 football scholarships and reducing recruiting visits, evaluations, and communications. So they reduced their recruiting by 12.5% of official reviews or official recruiting visits. And then for unofficial visits, they are doing a 21-day reduction of the normal 168 days allowed for off-campus contacts, and then also a 6-week ban in communication prospects. First of all, we are in a pandemic right now. You can't get those views anyway. You can't get those visits anyway right now. So you're not doing anybody like this just service by saying that you are now going to, eliminate stuff by 12.5%, because everybody has to. You guys might not even get that percentage of visits allowed this season, this upcoming next season anyway. You guys are just saying this now because it's a pandemic time. This is really interesting to me because they're kind of doing this, and it has nothing to do technically with Odell Beckham Jr. That situation was actually never investigated. It never went anywhere. What LSU is trying to cover up for right now is the fact that a booster actually, they did a 2-year investigation and found out a booster had paid a father money to allow his son to play football at LSU. This is huge because this happened during that player was on the team during the time that LSU won that championship. So we all remember what happened with Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush just got released earlier this year from his 10-year ban from USC, and he also lost his Heisman Trophy during that process. And USC had, 2 years where they actually couldn't do any recruiting. They couldn't play in any bowl games, any of that during that time. And this was honestly pretty much the same situation because Reggie Bush's parents had taken a house from a booster from USC. So LSU is trying to basically punish themselves. Very funny because I thought back to my days when I was younger and I used to get in trouble. I knew I did something wrong and my mom would come into my room getting ready to give me my punishment. And what LSU just did here is say, actually, Mom, I'm going to ground myself for 1 week because what I did was wrong. Knowing in your head you should be grounded for a month, you're just going to allow this 1 week being grounding of and try to ground yourself. No, my mom would have slapped me in the face and said, girl, you grounded for a month, not a week. I don't know why you're trying to put this 1 week punishment on yourself to make it seem like you did something wrong and this is just going to end here. You're grounded for a month. So this is exactly what LSU is doing right now. The NCAA has not laid any punishment upon LSU right now. This investigation was just completed, and LSU is basically saying that they are punishing themselves. And they're like, okay, we'll take away 8 football scholarships, and we will cut down our recruiting by 12.5%, and we'll reduce 21 days from our allowable off-campus contacts and all this kind of stuff. They're saying all of this stuff to hope that in the NCAA will be like, okay, well, they punished themselves enough. We're not going to do anything else. And then the fact that you included Odell Beckham Jr. in this at all is crazy because I looked into it. The booster who actually gave the money to the father of the player is not being banned from the stadium or any of the facilities. So the actual guy that was investigated for this particular thing that the NCAA is now possibly going to get you guys in trouble for, ban you, suspend you guys from whatever. He's not in trouble. He's not suspended, but Odell Beckham Jr. is suspended in this thing and cannot attend the facility for 2 years now. I think, number one, all of this is very convenient that they're trying to rush this punishment right now on themselves because they know we're in a pandemic and they wouldn't be technically able to do all these things anyway. And obviously, if the NCAA decides to put something on, we remember with the Reggie Bush thing, it took a couple years for them to decide on what the punishment for USC was going to be. very clear Reggie Bush was definitely out of college. He had already, I think, played with 2 teams at that time before he ended up getting this punishment dropped down on him. So LSU is literally just trying to rush this situation because we're in a pandemic and it's really the best time to do it. It's of course, ground me now while I can't go outside anyway. That's exactly what they're doing. I think it's crazy. I think the NCAA should lay down their own punishment themselves. I think it's crazy to even include Odell in this situation. Obviously, what Odell did was crazy, stupid, silly, whatever. But if you're not going to also ban the booster from the activities and football stuff for the next couple years, then you shouldn't ban Odell, because Odell was actually not the person that was under investigation technically in what the NCAA did. LSU obviously did their own investigation, and that's why they said Odell is whatever, but that had nothing to do with the actual grand thing that the NCAA was investigating at this time. I just think it's crazy. I think basically what I get that LSU is trying to send a message and show that they're not going to deal with their players getting paid and this, that, and the third, which obviously we all know that they do that anyway. But I think they sent the wrong message. I think they sent a message that really said, old rich white men, boosters, will not be punished for doing things and having situations where they're giving players money, but we're going to punish our former Black superstar athletes for something way less. The $2,000 compared to the hundreds of thousands of dollars that these boosters are giving is no comparison to what Odell did. And for Odell to get in trouble for it, I just think it's crazy. Chris, I'm going to go to you. What are your thoughts on all of this? Because I know you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. We all know It's been happening or whatever. And really the focus has been on Odell Beckham Jr. and not the fact that the booster actually is the one that paid the father for that kid to go there.
Yeah, but the thing is, the booster didn't make an amazing catch against the Dallas Cowboys, and that booster also wasn't a player for the Giants that had a lot of instances that ESPN loved to blow up. And yeah, that 100%. So, and that's my problem with this entire thing. Somewhere deep down, I understand LSU's trying to get on top of it before the NCAA takes it on, like you mentioned with the Reggie Bush thing. But at the same time, it to me, I still feel like this is just overblown. And I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of any of it. And then learning what you were just talked about, the booster too, it just proves that it's just all so crooked. And I can't stand any of it. I hate all of it. And like you said, now they burned this bridge with Odell Beckham Jr., the person who has been repping them for as long as he's been in the league. And even when this is all reinstated and it's all, swept under the rug for LSU, Odell's never going to want anything to do with LSU ever again. That's going to hurt their school. So it's just the whole thing is just messy and I couldn't stand it.
Right. And the difference between, honestly, the Reggie Bush thing and or with USC and Odell with you, USC didn't have a choice. That was something that the NCAA put down and said that he was not allowed to attend anything for the facility or for the school for 10 years. This situation, LSU is doing that themselves.
They did it.
And I really, because to kind of go back to the Reggie Bush situation with him having his Heisman being taken away, the school not being allowed to participate in bowl games for the couple years, because this player did play in that championship game, do you believe that LSU is nervous and scared of the fact that their championship might actually get taken away? And should it get taken away?
And that's why they shot themselves in the foot. They should have done the same thing at USC and, stand by with their ex-player and left it alone, because the NCAA is still going to come after them regardless. So now they're going to cut that tie. They're going to get that relationship that they had with Odell Beckham Jr. completely messed up with, and that might affect any other prospect that wants to come to that school, seeing how they handled that. And then on top of that, they still gonna get in trouble for the same booster. Well, actually, maybe they might not. That's another thing too. We could talk about that another day. But I think they should definitely still be worried, because that's something that's coming out and is being shed. The light is being shed on that a lot more on top of the Odell Beckham Jr. stuff as well. So they should definitely be worried, and it's just not a good look for LSU overall at all.
Right. Devin, do you think that their punishment they're giving themselves is enough? Do you think the NCAA will see that as enough, or do you think that they'll punish them on top of this? And should they get that championship taken away from them?
I think that I think that they'll still get punished, probably even more. It's like what you said when you got in trouble as a kid, and you'd be like, "Okay, I'm in a timeout" or whatever it is. Like your mom or dad would always want to give you something worse. I don't really know about that championship. I don't think that they'd have the championship taken away, but I do think overall the whole Odell news and how he's now banned from LSU, to me, that also doesn't sit right with me. The same that you guys were saying. I think this whole story is just kind of ridiculous. Like the self-imposed punishment, Odell not being able to be in the facilities for 2 years. It's silly.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Well, that is it for Britt's take. I know a lot of people in the chat have been kind of talking about it. Some people are saying there was no comparison at all. LSU is way better than Alabama. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. But yeah, I think the biggest thing here is that title, because does that title, if happen, is it going to be now vacant? Does it go to Clemson in that situation, which would make Clemson winning 3 of the CFPs, which would be huge for that school. But I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy, and I'm interested to see.
You want that?
And might not hear anything from the NCAA for like another year, because I remember the Reggie Bush thing took quite a while. So yeah, and I think.
But would you want that? Would you want it to go to Clemson, or would you rather keep it vacant? I'd rather keep it vacant. Don't give it to Clemson.
Vacant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they did with the Heisman, and I don't think Clemson would want it anyway. Like, they don't.
Right. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No,
for sure. That's crazy. It's crazy.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up our show for the day. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our final show of the week, because I believe it is Thursday today. This week has felt weird, as they all do lately. Subscribe, tap the bell, give this video a thumbs up, wash your hands, wear a mask, and have a great day, you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
I'm still mad at you, Rodney. I didn't forget.